trying to figure out how to collectivize that energy is a strategic and tactical question. And I want to suggest a way that might be helpful. You know, in any process, there is something that's key. And if you thought of a chain, it would be the key link. And one way to think of it is, if in fact you can actually make this link whole, it will strengthen all the other parts. That's one way to think of it, because they're all connected. The other thing, the two concepts I want to put out is a framing statement that actually connects them all. So here's what I was thinking. I was so moved by your sharing. Charity. Charity, right. That when children are in the home and there is no bathroom facility, there is no water to drink, there is no shower, that in some sense this is blatantly a grievous act. And if people could see it, and if you put a framing statement out there that said that this represents what the emergency management is, this is the base of it. The only question is whether they can get away with this one, and then the next one, and then the next one. You know, so it kind of goes like that. So here's what I want to suggest. One is that we collectively decide what is the key link, what is the issue, and here's a way to think about it. What if it is the issue that if you got it out there, you know, would touch people the deepest and the quickest, and you have to put them both together. And I somehow can envision children without facilities, without food, without water, in their domicile, and whatever little piece of compassion is left in the corner of the hearts of people, I've got a feeling that that would touch it, if you could reach it. And if you could then say, I'm going to spell it all out, and the framing statement would be that all of these issues are important, all are connected, all have to be worked on. But here is one that actually is a matter of hours and days. And it seems to me that a demand needs to be made that all the water be turned back on immediately. That's right. And that we then work out whatever has to be worked out. But you cannot leave 100 and 200 or 300 families out here with nothing. That this is barbaric and it reduces our humanity of everybody. So that's a demand. Now, demand is empty unless there's an action connected to it. That's right. In other words, it's sounding brass and tinkling cymbal. So we have to decide what the action is. But if you envision a piece of paper, one side of it really dedicated to this issue of water and who's not paying the bill. But the main thing is to draw people's hearts to the women, to the children, and to the families. Draw them to it. Force them to look at it. And then spell out some of what you were just saying about companies that are getting away with this, and then put your demand down there. On the other side, go ahead and list that this is directly connected to pension funds, and we ought to do everything we can to support the pension fund. This is directly connected to education. Yeah, that's right. And we need to do what we can. Don't allow them to divide you. If you frame it, you put it all together. And then you say, as we work on this one, don't encourage anybody not to do anything. That's right. Let everybody do their thing. But then let's do a collective thing. And that collective thing is to stand with the children on this place at this time, and if you're ready, what is it that's more important to go to jail for
That's right.
than this?
That's right.
What is it that's more important to send a message to the nation that Detroit has turned into some rogue kind of operation around here and is blessed by the governor of the state? And if you can get that put together, and then, you know, if you need a picture, get a picture. And on the other side, put all the other issues and say, we're going to act on all of these. But right now, we've got to get the water for the children.
That's right.
We've got to do it. You know, if not, turn in our badge that names us humanity. We've turned into something else.
That's right.
And I just want to suggest that it is not either or.
Okay, that's right.
It is both and. And a good general never charges 15 hills at the same time. Take one. Take one and fortify your position. And then take the next one. And then take the next one. It's kind of and that's a little strategic thinking that's tied to a vision. And normally I wouldn't get up in a city where I don't know nothing about who's doing what and who's upset with who.
Go as the Lord
but I want to put
leader.
that out. Now let me put out one other
That's
thing.
what's happening here.
There's a whole group of people who are too afraid to make a move.
That's right.
Yeah.
Those are the people that generally get elected to and by the way, I think you need to name this thing. It seemed like I heard a few minutes ago something called Waging a Love campaign.
Right.
Waging Love. Is that what it said?
Yes.
I mean, something like that. And then you need to get the list of preachers and prepare a good letter, theological letter. Bill knows what I'm talking about. Our book says, love your neighbor like you love yourself. And how can you be silent in the face of your neighbor being put out on the street? And we are inviting you to join the campaign to wage love. Get the list of the other organizational leaders. Write them the same thing, and don't put them down directly, but raise with them, how can you be silent in the face of this thing happening? And if this is what the emergency management is on these poor, vulnerable people, don't you know this steamroller is going to run over the rest of us? So let's gather around them. And what you do then is people need information. And I think a good flyer, and then you figure out all the ways you can get it out. The flyer is one way. You can put them in barbershop. The social media. Get with the young people. Somebody pull them all together. You were talking about that. Give them a little piece of stuff and do it the way you do it. You don't have to write it like we write it. Write it in a way that will communicate. And the third thing is make full use of public gatherings where you can get a word in. If you want to do the minute thing, do the minute thing. And so the information has to get out. But it has to be a call to an action, in my estimation. Because what that requires is courage. And half of the people don't move because they don't know, and the other half don't move because they know. And you've got to help the people who don't know to know, and the part who know, you've got to grow their courage. And courage is contagious. In Greensboro some years ago, only 4 people went down to sit in at the restaurant.
That's right.
The rest of them were thinking about this. And they couldn't bring themselves to do it. But when those 4 stood up, 40 more came. 400 came. And after a while, it was all over the nation. And so courage actually has to be manifest by action. And I just want to say, think a little bit about how to frame this in 3 or 4 sentences, and then how to lift up the key link, and then how to add all the other chains of the link on the same front and back of a page, and then name an action. It might be standing in front of a house not just the family. Stand with the family.
Yeah.
And if you go to jail, we go to jail. And do it in such a way that you will have 100 or 200 people there, and the ones who are not there will begin to feel bad because they weren't there. And so I just want to leave that with you. I hope it makes some sense. And I